In preschool-age children are already able to support the needs of others within their own competences. As understanding of emotions increases, children begin to develop empathy for each other. The concept of empathy raises man to high levels. We are beings capable of superior functions, reasoning, planning, abstractive abilities. We are able to go deeper contact with the other, empathy, sharing of intentions, emotional sharing, affections. Union is not only fundamental from an emotional point of view, it is also the secret of human evolutionary history. Put so, the human being seems to be a wonderful creature, capable only of doing well. In fact, the human being is a beautiful creature only when different factors are aligned, and this does not always happen. In psychology, in fact, a mechanism has been observed in perfect antithesis with empathy, malignant joy. If empathy leads me to rejoice in the successes of others and feel an empathic displeasure for the misfortunes of others, malign joy triggers a sense of satisfaction in observing the failures of others. How can all this be explained? Malign joy, the antithesis of empathy. Empirical research on malignant joy, Smith et al. 2009, proposes 3 possible causes of this complex emotion. Malign joy, according to the authors, would emerge when the observer gets a benefit from the harm of others, if he thinks that evil has been deserved, or if the person who experiences the misfortune is the object of envy. On the international scene, malign joy is called Schadenfreude. This German word was used for the first time in the 1700s. It is composed of 2 terms and literally means damage, Schaden, and joy, Freude. Its meaning corresponds to that of our malign joy, that is to rejoice for the damage to others. Schadenfreude is a complex emotion that manifests itself with a feeling of joy looking at the misfortunes of others. The researchers highlighted that there are 3 driving forces behind evil joy: aggression, competition, and envy, and social justice. Self-esteem has a negative correlation with the frequency and intensity of malicious joy, which means that those with good self-esteem do not enjoy the misfortunes of others. Conversely, people with low self-esteem tend to experience malicious joy with greater frequency and emotional intensity. I enjoy your pain to protect my identity. It is hypothesized that this inverse relationship is mediated by a psychological inclination typical of the human being. We humans are led to define and protect our identity and the conception we have of ourselves within a group, a sort of social self-evaluation. In particular, those with good self-esteem see the other as a resource, an equal, and, by empathic mirroring, are led to feel sorry by observing a person fail. Under optimal conditions, the failure of others does not reinforce one's sense of identity because one's identity is already well defined. Conversely, those with low self-esteem tend to use the failures of others to reinforce their identity and self-concept, including their own social self-evaluation. Failures of others are used to increase self-confidence and paradoxically to protect oneself. Those with low self-esteem see a significant threat in the successes of others. Successful people pose a powerful threat to their sense of self. Seeing a person fail can be a source of comfort to the point of triggering a feeling of pleasure and relief. In psychology, comparison is a very powerful tool for growth. It can trigger changes, ambitions, and grant unprecedented elaborations. However, the same confrontation, if used in a distorting key, can trigger a sense of frustration, failure, and worthlessness. In comparing themselves to others, those who are prone to malignant joy embrace an underlying reasoning such as, if I didn't make it, he can't do it either, when he would do better to think, if he can make it, I can do it too, or, more timidly, if he can try, I can try too. Malign joy, a secret emotion. Malign joy is a secret emotion, to be hidden from others, because just like envy, it is socially unacceptable. Yet there are many people who enjoy the problems of others. The colleague who misses the presentation of a work project or the friend who takes a low grade on the exam can cause joy in highly insecure and therefore competitive people. Why are insecure people competitive? Because they seek constant confirmation of their value. Insecurity creates an underlying fragility, a sense of non-value, which one tries to remedy with a race for competition. The bad thing, in this context, is that the person can provide himself with 1,000 tests, win 1,000 competitions, but the conception he has of himself will not change, at least not for this or that test. To overcome that fragility, one should learn to better define one's identity upstream. Going further down the level, it can be said that someone likes to witness the misfortunes of others so as to proclaim, in a pleased way, their righteousness with the faithful phrase, "It could never happen to me." Few people admit that they take pleasure in the misfortunes of others, but within certain limits it is completely normal. Who doesn't like to see the rival team suffer in football competitions? Football fans, in fact, not only rejoice when their favorite team wins but are also ready to enjoy when the main antagonist takes goals from third parties, a sort of triangulated rematch. Compassion deficit. Some might define malign joy as a momentary blackout of moral conscience, linked to the awareness of ethical human aspects. In the scientific landscape there are those who speak of compassion deficit disorder. This term is generally used to describe children who lack empathy and engage in bullying behaviors. Something very similar happens in the adult world. We desensitize ourselves to the problems of others, we completely lack compassion to the point of transforming the failure of the other into our satisfaction. Malign joy and the lack of compassion are two themes that can be traced back to the haters phenomenon. The difference between evil joy and sadism. There is a clear difference between Schadenfreude and sadism. Schadenfreude is experienced by observing the suffering of others, while sadism is a particular type of pleasure experienced in inflicting pain on another. The malign joy of the perverse narcissist. Empathy deficit is a salient feature of narcissistic personality disorder. It is certainly no coincidence that in narcissism we find both malignant joy and sadistic traits. The narcissist not only rejoices in seeing the other go out of favor, he is also bothered by the success of the other. When others are well, they are happy. They remind the narcissist of the great sense of unfulfillment that he carries inside, which is why he feels the need to hurt and belittle others. The perverted narcissist can actively try to harm others. Psychological abuse becomes a weapon to confirm one's greatness. The harm caused to others is a subtle nourishment. For this reason we can speak of sadism.